Thank you, Cody Askins and 8% Nation. We're excited to be with you and be part of this power-packed 8% Nation virtual conference today, and also the 8% Nation live event in Dallas, Texas. What was that?
Dallas, Texas.
Coming up in July. My name's Roger Short, and this is one of my business partners right here, and Life Insurance Academy instructor, and also the infamous Life Insurance Academy podcast host. And for those of you who've been checking us out on your favorite podcast app or now on YouTube, you finally get to meet one of my best friends, Mr. Chris Ball.
Thank you guys so much for having us. We are super excited to be here. And Roger, there are thousands of people watching right now.
Does that make you feel funny?
Oh, is it butterflies? That might have been something I ate, but no, I'm ready, man. I'm excited. We've got some great stuff for you today.
We're ready to bring it to you. This amazing career and profession that we're all in is the profession of selling, or the profession of persuasion. Some people feel slightly uncomfortable when they think of selling or persuading. For some who have an aversion to this, they may even see it as manipulation. I think, Chris, when I actually showed you the business plan for the first time, you said, I kind of like this, but
I don't want to take advantage of old people.
You said, I don't want to take advantage of old people. And I paused for a minute and I thought, wait, does he think I take advantage of old people? Like, this was a thought. And so some people have this thought.
That's my idea of sales and what it was. So,
some people have this view. However, when we really break things down, we are all in sales, aren't we? We all persuade on a daily basis. If someone has a good idea or a good suggestion that would benefit others, or they would like to do something or go to a certain place, we state our case, and we hope to move people in the direction of our desired outcome. This is persuasion, and we all do it at work, in our social settings, in our relationships, and at home. This is a profession that I've given my entire career to, and I don't see selling in this light at all. In fact, I see the art of persuasion as a beautiful thing. So, I have a question for everyone. Have you ever seen a movie director in a behind the scenes do this? Do this. You can guys go ahead and try that. Your fingers will feel funny for a minute. Have you ever seen anybody do this? Chris, you're a movie guy. What are they doing when they do that?
I'm a big movie buff, and they're doing exactly what you're saying. They're persuading us. So when directors are doing this, they're being very intentional, and they're removing the visual noise to determine what they will show us in the shot.
Yeah.
And by the time it's finished, once the scene is complete, they are showing you exactly what they want you to see. Everything in there is in there for a reason.
Even here, you see exactly what we want you to see. This shot and this frame, everything that you see here, right here, was set up with you in mind. You don't see what's outside of the frame and all the things going on around us that would distract you. We probably should show them, though, just to give them context. Should we show them?
Yeah, sure. Let's show them. So as you can see, this looks very different, doesn't it? From this frame, you see our set design, our cables. I don't know, maybe you can see Austin, possibly. You can see our coffee. You can see our equipment. But as we were framing this shot, we knew that this type of thing could distract your focus and limit our effectiveness if we kept the frame here. Mm-hmm. So we had to frame our shot and focus your attention to be effective in our communication and ultimately our call to action.
So here's a question for you. To start, we're looking for your participation here. We know that you're on the chat, and there's a chat feature running on the side of this while we're doing this. And so we'd like you guys to jump in. When I did this, did you guys try to do that? I did this with Rose at the house the other night, and she couldn't get her fingers right. It was funny to watch. So if you didn't try it, go ahead and try it now. Go ahead, take a minute, frame up something in this shot right here, or something where you are. Go ahead and frame it up, and then I have a question for you. Now, when you did that, which hand went on top?
Okay.
Which hand went on top?
So mine's left, but
mine is right.
Okay. Well,
right.
And I'm left-handed. I don't know if that influences it or not.
And I'm right-handed.
Okay.
So if your right hand was on top, we want you to go ahead and put right in the chat feature. If your left hand was on top, this is a scientific study we're doing right now.
That's right.
If your left hand was on top, I want you to go ahead and put left in the chat feature. And we're going to add them all up. We're going to see which one of this group, of all these, of you incredible 8% Nation followers and the people here today to learn some great stuff, we're going to see which one is more dominant, left or right.
Right. And I think Cody's giving away $10,000 in Bitcoin.
He does these. I think there's money getting ready to fall from the ceiling. Cody, are you getting ready to?
Who knows?
I'm ready
Who
to
knows?
catch. All right. So today we're talking about the power of framing in the art of persuasion. Before the explosion of information on the internet, the salesperson had an advantage. They had the benefit of knowledge, and that knowledge gave them power over the buyer. The transfer of information to the buyer from the salesperson communicated and established an authority and put them in a position of strength and high value. Today, however, people have an access to an endless amount of information. If you want to learn anything about anything, you can simply Google it, or better, you can actually YouTube it.
Yeah.
And you can certainly find enough people on Facebook that are telling you what's true and right about everything.
Absolutely.
Even our seniors, they're living on these devices, right?
Yeah.
As a society and culture, we are stimulus rich now, but often context poor. There's just so much information to digest and process that people can be overwhelmed, and they don't know how to make a value decision, and they don't know where to put their focus. There's just too much going on. There's too much noise. And it's the same for your clients that you serve on a daily basis. I want you to remember this statement in business and in sales. If you confuse, you lose. Help reduce the noise, narrow your client's focus, and simplify your solutions. One of the best ways that you can do that is to put things in a frame, and it's called the framing effect.
The framing effect is a type of cognitive bias. We like to use sciencey sounding words on occasion just to show you how smart we are. This cognitive bias, this causes people to react to something in different ways depending on how information is presented to them. It impacts how they perceive value and the actions they take. So today, we'll address some of these framing approaches and how they can dramatically improve your sales across all our insurance-related markets. And at the end of this Life Insurance Academy session, you will discover 4 of the most powerful and effective frames and how to use them to help you eliminate the noise in your persuasion efforts and close more sales, and add an additional $30,000 to $40,000 to your bank account.
What?
Yeah,
They're going to make that much money from this one?
if they pay attention.
We're gonna give you that. So,
Do it.
A cognitive bias, this psychological term, can help us frame our message. When we know that people are subject to certain cognitive biases, we can enlist them in our persuasion efforts. The first frame that we'd like to talk to you about that addresses one of these biases is the loss aversion frame. And some of you may know it as the fear of loss. What does your prospective client have to lose? Help them identify that. Asking good questions in this direction can help them discover what they have to lose, more so than focusing on what they have to gain. This is particularly effective in insurance sales. Yes, benefits are extremely important, but what people have to lose often proves to be a stronger motivator than what they have to gain. There's been all kinds of studies on this to show that. Too many for us to go into. But in our training, we call this letting them know the stakes. And not like Omaha steaks,
those are
but
good
the
ones.
stakes.
These are good
STAKES.
stakes too. One of my favorite sales quotes comes from the great Zig Ziglar. People often say no because they don't have enough information.
Yeah.
Getting started, I think I misunderstood what he meant by this and what it is that people actually had to know early on in my sales career. So I thought I needed to give them more information about the company, the product, and the features. So I did that for a while, but it wasn't really moving the needle, and I think I was actually boring people. And I learned that they didn't need more product knowledge. What they just needed to know what was at stake.
Yeah.
So then I started to think, if my clients could jump in a time machine to 1 year in the future and see the financial impact of not choosing this product today on the people that they care about, they would beg me to purchase this policy.
Mm-hmm.
What is the information deficit that they have? It's not about products. It's not about the different carriers that we have. Ultimately, it's what is at stake. Our job in insurance sales is to help the prospect understand what happens to the people they care about most when something like an unexpected medical challenge arises, or even worse, when they pass. How is this going to affect their family's finances without the right health coverage? What strain does this put on the family if they don't have a life insurance benefit in place to depend on for loss of income or final expenses? I mean, after all, the person that they need the most is going to be gone. So our job is to create that frame, remove the noise, and help them see the stakes clearly and what losses their family will suffer if they do not have the right benefits in place. When you do that, they are more likely to take action when they see what is at stake and what they can lose. Again, this is based on the cognitive bias to avoid loss.
Yeah. And plus, a time machine would be fun.
Oh, yeah, man. We need to do that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We need to get a DeLorean.
Hey, Austin, can you get us a flux capacitor? Cool. Thanks, bud. Just write it down. We'll figure it
What's
out.
that name? Is it Lloyd?
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd?
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher
Yeah, he's the
Lloyd.
actor.
Yeah. He's great. So the next frame that we're going to talk about is the experience frame. You guys have heard about this before. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. And guys, it is real. I have some of that fear of missing out stuff. If you relate to me and you have FOMO too sometimes, I want you to go ahead and type FOMO, F-O-M-O, into the chat. F-O-M-O, type that into the chat. The experience frame is all about missing out on an experience. Think about something that you spent money on recently or in the past 6-8 months that was memorable and meaningful to you. It's probably not a shirt. It's probably not a new phone or some office supplies that you ordered from Amazon. My guess is that it's probably something like a vacation you took with some special people that's now etched in your memory. Or perhaps it was a pet that you guys purchased that you brought home that's now bringing so much joy and happiness to your home, and it's actually enriched your family. Or maybe it was a special gift that you spent time thinking about and you took the time in purchasing it and wrapping it for somebody so that you can enjoy the experience of giving it to them and watching them open it, knowing how much they would enjoy it. Social scientists have looked at and studied what people remember and what they value. They tell us that people tend to value experiences more than a product or more than goods and services. That's why we should never talk about the cost of a premium for a policy. We need to talk about what the benefit is for and who the experience is and what that person is going to feel. It's an experiential thing. So it's satisfaction is not derived so much from that new 72-inch TV that you got on Black Friday last year, but it's more about the experiences. Although a 72-inch TV nicely mounted in a new space does look pretty cool.
It does look pretty cool, especially when Tom Brady's winning a Super Bowl.
Yes, the GOAT. But it's the experiences around that. It's the nights of sitting there with your family or your friends, having movie night now once a month, eating popcorn, laughing together, or crying together. I'm a dad of 3 daughters and my wife, and sometimes we watch movies that make people cry, even me.
All right, bro.
Even me. So it's conclusive that the experience is more valuable and enriching than the product itself.
You know, Roger, I have to confess, I'm a FOMO guy, fear of missing out guy. I collect sports cards, and I look for great deals. And part of that experience is knowing you got a great deal. Like,
yes.
That is an experience.
Yeah, you stole something. Like, I got one.
I got one, you know? And so when there's this buzz about a card, I have anxiety almost that I'm going to miss out on something special.
Why is that? Did you recently just miss out on something,
Yes,
Chris?
I did.
He did.
There was a very special...
He was pouty for a little while.
Muhammad Ali card I'd been watching for months. I took my eyes off it, and it jumped from $400 to $10,000. Could have had it for $400.
That was an expensive eye off of it moment.
Got distracted, right?
And now, with every card, you're like...
Oh, yeah, that could be the one. That could be the one.
Right?
So that FOMO's for real, guys. So this affects all of us in some way or another, and this is true for your clients. So it's a little different in life sales because the experience that this frame is dialing in on is the experience of how they will be remembered and the satisfaction of being aligned with people who just simply do the right thing.
Yeah.
There are 2 ways to use this experience frame. First, if I can help my prospects to discuss how they want to be remembered by the people they love, it will be easier for them to take action. I mean, who doesn't want to be remembered as making an impact on the financial future of the people they love? Mm-hmm. They will not want to miss out if I can paint a detailed picture of how this will impact and bless their family. Next, it's important for us to remember that buying a life policy is a principled decision. It's a decision about who they are as a human being. When they consider buying a policy, they are doing what they would expect every other good person to do.
Yeah.
If you are working leads, it is important to understand this. This is at the core of why they requested information in the first place. It helps in our presentations to find a point of agreement with our prospects that it is just absolutely true. It is our responsibility as husbands, as wives, as parents to improve our families' futures. We want to leave this place better for them than it was for us. And if we can agree on that, then this becomes a common sense principled decision. They know right and wrong. They know taking care of their family is the right thing to do. And when we use this experience frame, we are reducing the noise and helping our prospects realize that they do not want to miss out on the experience of changing lives and the satisfaction of being aligned with people who do the right thing.
Yeah, it's not about the premium for the policy. It's about doing something for their family so their family can continue to have those experiences that they want them to have now.
Absolutely.
Many of you may not know that my former career in business prior to insurance was in advertising sales and publishing. Specifically, it was in the Yellow Pages.
That's
one of
that,
these
Roger?
great big thick books, yellow paper.
Like an encyclopedia.
Names and phone numbers, newsprint with like pictures and plumbing and roofing and phone numbers.
Okay.
And
I
then
think
this
I've heard
little
of it.
company came along called Google, and they started to change some things, okay?
You may want to watch Google. They're going to
be
stuff.
something?
I think
yeah,
so.
Yeah.
FOMO.
So this idea today is we're going to be talking about the contrast frame. And so there's a story in the advertising world from my past about this guy named Rosser Reeves that I love. And he was a famous ad man from the 1950s. And he believed the purpose of advertising was to sell. He's the one who actually coined the famous term unique selling proposition. He actually believed that differentiation was one of the most important strategic and tactical activities in which companies must constantly engage. And even you, and for us as individuals, how do we differentiate ourselves from our competition?
Yeah.
Now, there's a famous story about him when he and a friend were going out to lunch. They were actually walking down the street in Manhattan. It was a beautiful spring day, and they passed a blind man in an alley, and he was panhandling for money. And he was sitting there with his hat to collect coins, and he had a sign in front of him, and on that sign it says, "I am blind." Now, sadly, there weren't too many coins in the hat. The story goes on to say that Rosser went over to the man and asked if he could help. And he wrote just 4 more words on his sign above those words that "I am blind." And these are the 4 words he wrote. "It is springtime and." It is springtime and I am blind. This is the contrast principle at work. You see, everyone was reading that he was blind. But now when they read it, they see his blindness in contrast to their own ability to see and enjoy a beautiful spring day. We understand this person can't see compared to what? Compared to me who can see the beauty of this spring day. Oh my gosh, he can't see what I'm seeing. These words immediately, because they were contrasted in what he was not able to take part in, they were contrasted. It immediately elicited empathy from the passerbys, and the coins started to pile up. You see, technically, we understand and process things in relative terms, not absolute terms. So, is this expensive? Well, if you have no value on it, everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Is it expensive compared to what? Am I a caring person? Yeah. But compared to who? Well, Mother Teresa? Well, no. There's these contrast things. So we have to do the contrast. The single most important question in sales and persuasion is not to answer the question, what's in it for me, as most of us are taught. That's the second most important question. The most important question to answer for the client is, compared to what? The way you make something extremely impactful and valuable is to contrast it with something else and not to let it sit out there on its own. So Chris, what are some examples of how this contrast frame can be utilized with clients in our insurance sales efforts?
It's too much. I can't afford it. Compared to what? That's a great question. If we can help the clients answer this question that we know is likely happening in their mind before we ever get the objection, We are positioning the value in a contrast frame. So here's an example of this. In this conversation, I'm talking to Mr. Smith, and I can say to Mr. Smith, it's interesting, Mr. Smith. Some people look at this as merely a transactional decision, and they weigh the cost of $89 a month or $159 a month in their current budget or lifestyle, and they may think that they don't want to afford this type of payment or it's just too expensive. However, every time we ask if they could go forward to the day after the accident that requires hospitalization, or the day, God forbid, that you've been diagnosed with terminal cancer, when we ask our other clients this, would you feel the same way? The answer is always a resounding no. You see, Mr. Smith, when $89 or $159 a month is compared to the cost that's associated with these new and very real and challenging financial concerns, our other clients, to them, this is an incredibly affordable and valuable investment for their family. Now, wouldn't you agree? So another place this frame is effective is when the prospective client has existing coverage and they say, I'm sure you've heard this, I already have a policy.
Yeah, a lot of people turn around and walk out when they hear that.
Absolutely.
Especially new people. Don't do that.
Right. Another way you hear this is, I have enough coverage.
Yeah.
And what we need to answer or be prepared to answer is compared to what? We need to advise them properly and show a breakdown of loss of income and the household expenses that will no longer be covered as a result of the passing of the primary income earner. And we can show them what happens when Social Security disappears for one of the spouses and how that impacts the family that is dependent in some way on the current income. So this contrast is very important. Contrast their initial thoughts of, I have enough, to the clear gaps that will exist for the family if they have just a basic burial plan. The contrast to the liability that the client and their family will have raises the value of the benefits and coverage significantly. Now, left alone, however, there's no contrast. If there's no contrast presented, they will have little empathy toward taking further action. The contrast frame in both of these examples can be utilized before you even get an objection, so that you address these commonly known objections and then eliminate them before the client can raise them.
Yeah, we talk about, like, if you get good at knowing what the objections are going to be and you can raise those objections, you as the presenter, you as the persuader, you actually take the power away, you diffuse them, and you take them off the table of conversations, and they don't come up later. Absolutely. And one of the most effective ways to do that is when they're apathetic or they seem disinterested in moving forward, is to position it in this contrast frame. Next, we're going to talk about the final one, and it's one that I know will impact your sales next week, and it is one that we will refer to as the less is more frame. Less is more. You see, we've been convinced to think in this information and choice-rich society that we'll be more persuasive to offer people lots and lots of choices. You can have it any way you want it.
Are you going to sing?
No, I'm not going to sing.
I feel it.
Any way you want. No,
that's the way you need it.
Yeah, anyways, you can have it any style you want it, whatever color you want it, and you can have it whenever you want it. The truth is that offering people lots of choices, while it can be persuasive, it's only persuasive to a point. You see, choice is valuable, but it has a ceiling on it. So there's a study by two researchers out of Stanford that set up shop in a grocery store. And they were doing a comparison on how choices and the number of choices impacted people's buying decisions and sales. And I love reading about these studies. They're so fascinating. And in this research test, they were selling jam. At one end of the store, they set up and offered 24 varieties of jam. That's a lot of jam.
Yeah.
And at the other end of the store, they displayed and offered only 6 varieties of jam. Now, being able to taste 24 varieties of jam before purchasing is a great value, and it certainly led to a lot of people tasting the jam. However, the study was designed to assess buying decisions and purchasing patterns. It wasn't designed to see which one gave out more samples. It was designed to see which one sold more. So after all, the reason why most of you registered and are watching today in this great nation of 8%ers chiming in to figure out how to advance your career and accelerate your sales, you wanted to learn how to close more sales, how to convert more of your sits. not just to book more appointments or
Yeah.
give away more brochures. Yes, this is a numbers game, and you do need to know how to book appointments and get more sits, but when you're actually in front of a prospective client, either face-to-face or over the phone, you want to discover how to frame your message to sell more policies. So which sold more? When they offered more choices, they had a lot more activity, but only 3%
Holy cow.
purchased jam. 3. When they offered fewer choices and more selective choices, 30% purchased jam. 30%. That's a 27% increase in the number of people who actually took action.
Holy cow.
You see, less is more. Offering fewer options is more persuasive. And this speaks to something that's really important to understand in our sales, and that is choice is valuable, but it has a ceiling on it. So Chris, how can we make sure that we're maximizing our opportunities with our clients, understanding and utilizing the power of this less is more frame?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need things to be simple. And this is probably why I like restaurants like Chipotle. You know, it's either a taco or a burrito. It's just you hold it differently. I think that's the trick.
It's the same stuff,
It's the
just
same
mixed
stuff.
up differently.
Yeah. So you got to pick your beans, you pick your meat, you pick your rice, bam, it's over.
No, it's not over.
Yeah.
There's always this dilemma with the guac.
Yeah, it's a.
How many
it's
of you
a
have dilemma
principled
with the
purchasing
guac?
decision? Yes.
Right? Because you have to buy the guac at Chipotle.
Yes.
And I think it's like half the price of a taco.
It's insane.
I don't know how much it is, but it always gets me right in the middle.
I know.
Anybody else have issues with the guac? If you do, type guac in the chat,
Guac.
will you? Guac. If you know how to
Send us
spell
some
it.
guac. We like guac.
G-U-A-C. Go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, I love the simple choices. I can't go to restaurants with 35 pages on their menu. I mean, it's just overwhelming. So it's important for us to understand that while insurance seems simple to us,
Yeah.
in most cases, I know you might be on the front end of this and you're trying to figure it out, but after you got the wheels running, it seems simple to us. To our clients, it's very complicated. And if you're an independent agent, you're probably working with multiple companies and multiple products, and it'd be very easy for you to give your prospective client 30 different options with 30 different premiums to choose from.
And feel excited about it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I got all of these options.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've got all of them. I've got all the options. But this burns our prospective client's energy and calories, and ultimately it leads to confusion. And you heard this at the beginning, if you confuse, you lose. And Donald Miller said it best in his book, Story Brand. It's great stuff. You need to check it out. If you confuse, you lose.
So, if you confuse, you lose. Can you engage with us one more time? And I want you to remember this statement. This is a takeaway from our talk today in our session. This will help you next week. Go ahead and type in the chat, if you confuse, you lose. Can you go ahead and do that? Just the fact that you're typing it and writing it down will help you remember that. Go ahead. For those of you who want to win, you're going to type that in the chat. Go ahead and type that in there now.
So as insurance professionals, it's our job to identify the needs of our prospects and their family and present them with the best products that will serve their needs. And here's a quick tip, okay? Good underwriting questions will help you narrow down your options and your choices. So after we have decided which product, offer them 3 simple, affordable options to choose from and ask them to make a decision. That's it. It's that simple. Anything else, and we run the risk of confusing them and losing the sale. Give people an easy path to a decision, or we'll say it this way, a simple off-ramp to a close. We don't want them running into confusing construction sites where the ramp is supposed to be there, but they have to follow a complicated detour and Waze is confused, and they have to find the next off-ramp. Because if that happens, we will lose sales when things get complicated. The prospect will shut down, and they'll tell you what everybody hears on occasion, they need to think about it. Does that sound familiar to you?
Oh, I'm sure some people have heard that.
Yep.
And then they come back and say, yeah, he wanted to think about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they believe them.
And they're going to come back 7, 8 more times and possibly sell it.
And the new agent believes the client.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing.
Yeah, we just need to limit the choices and give them 3 simple options to choose from. So frame the focus on a few and simple choices and get more sales. In this session, we discussed the loss aversion frame, the experience frame, the contrast frame, and the less is more frame. These are 4 of the most powerful framing approaches to reduce the noise that distracts your sales efforts simplify your message, and close more sales. We trust that as you get back out there making a difference and changing lives, that one or more of these frames will actually help you move the needle with at least one more prospective client each week.
It will.
And we are confident it will. And a result of that average additional $600 to $800 a week you will earn in commissions, this one session effectively just made you an extra $30,000 to $40,000 this year.
Boom.
Boom. We did it.
We did it. Can you imagine how much they're going to get from all the rest of the sessions? It's incredible. So if you found any value in this training today on the power of framing and the art of sales, we'd like to let you know that there are actually 8 key frames for simplifying your message and maximizing your sales. And we're going to be offering an in-depth training session on those later this month. And we'll provide that to you with free access for today only by going to lifeinsuranceacademy.org/8, the number 8%, PERCENT. Go to that link. I think you'll see it in the chat right now. And you can actually download the Power of Framing and Sales course material from this talk right now for your use so that you can have all the content, so you can go back and reference it, so that you can study it and you can put it into practice next week. Now, you're also going to receive today only an invite to the next training session. However, you have to take action before this session ends. Now, secondly, if you feel like this was valuable at all to you and can help you improve your conversions, we'd like to offer you one more 8% Nation virtual conference giant offer. Giant. Chris, we're crazy.
The goods.
Yeah. If you are
goods.
This is where it comes. This is where it comes. So hang on. We're going to give you some stuff. If you are currently in final expense sales, or if you're in Medicare sales, mortgage protection sales, or annuity sales, and you'd like to add final expense to your lineup, or you'd like to take your final expense to the next level and maximize your profits and expand your impact, then this is for you. 2 weeks from today on March 19th at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, the Life Insurance Academy is going to be offering a free, FREE, exclusive webinar on mastering the art of the no-close final expense presentation.
Can I say it?
You can say whatever. I don't know what you're going to say.
We're going to teach them how to make the sausage.
Yes, we're going to teach them how to make the sausage. That's a podcast reference.
Yes.
You have to go.
If you haven't checked it out, check it out.
You got to go get it on our podcast for that. This webinar will provide you the inside secrets and the 5 fundamental features of the no-close presentation that has helped agents, check this out, write over 30,000 policies and earn over 21 million in commissions. Yes, you heard that right. It's a lot of stinking policies and a lot of money. 30,000 policies and 21 million in commissions. If you'd like this secret and the inside scoop on that, go to lifeinsuranceacademy.org/8%. It's in the chat. That's in the chat feature right now, and go register for this free virtual exclusive, this free virtual conference exclusive. And when you do, we're actually going to give you 3 more additional downloadable resources. Here's more. Wow. Hold on, Chris. There's more. 3 more additional resources that are going to help you accelerate your business and increase your sales right away. You'll get access to these 3. And the first one is the Telesales Master's Guide to Call Control. If you want to be super effective on the phone with your phone sales, you need that guide. The second one is the 6-figure agent activity tracker. If it was your goal to be in the 6-figure realm this year in 2021, you absolutely need that one. It's going to revolutionize your business. And the last one is free statements and smoke screens worksheet. Now, this one is going to help you get unstuck and unfrozen when clients are blowing you smoke. So once you register, I want you to go ahead and register. And once you do so, I want you to please type I'm in the chat. Can you do that? Can you type I'm in the chat? We want to know that at least the links are working, and we want to know that you got in. Go ahead. It's in the chat right now. You can click the link. And once you register, I want you to go and type I'm in the chat. That will help us know. Now, if you have any problems with getting that registered, once you click the link, please let us know, and we're here to help you. Go to the link, lifeinsuranceacademy.org/8%. Register for this free virtual conference exclusive with 8% Nation. All you 8%ers out there, you're going to get those 3 free additional resources that are available right now to help you accelerate your business and increase your sales. Chris and I want to say thank you so much for investing in yourself. Using the power of frames to keep things simple will help you close more sales. Because remember, if you confuse, you lose. Thank you, 8% Nation. You guys are incredible. Thank you for investing in yourself. We can't wait to hear the next sessions. Remember, put it in the chat. I'm in. We'll see you there.
See ya.